Metaverse.
Yo, Tyrant!
Yeah.
Check it out. I have a curved sword.
A curved sword?
A curved sword. I mean,
like a
we're
curved
not.
sword.
Yeah, we're not. We're not talking about this little tiny curve, the itty bitty, minuscule curve that we see on katanas. We're talking about a proper curved shamshia, baby. I was going to spin it, but you're behind me.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Maybe don't. This one here is from Cult of Athena.
Cult of Athena.
I'm pretty sure it's a windlass.
And no, it's an exclusive from Cult of Athena.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if you are interested in this sword, we do have an affiliate link in the description below.
It says windlass on it.
It is windlass, but it's a Cult of Athena exclusive windlass. But it literally does say windlass on the blade. Yeah. All right. That could be a good thing. We'll find out. Windlass, they can have good blades. And I am super interested in giving this a spin and giving it a review so you can find out how good it is. But we have not used, we've done light cutting with this already, but other than that, we are completely fresh with such a type of sword. And so I'm very excited.
Right off the bat, I like it.
You like it?
I like it. And the interesting thing is because we got the other one, which is
a bit chunkier.
Not a fan of that one. This one in particular, I actually like. It's very nimble, very light. It feels very well balanced. I like the stopper.
Yep.
It's so far I am liking this one because the last windlass we got was the rapier, and I had some issues with it.
Yeah.
This one seems to be a little bit higher quality.
So this is the other shamshi we were talking about, which we're going to do a dedicated review on as well, but it's good for a point of comparison because this is a bit more of a chunky boy, which could mean it cuts better, or it might not. We'll find out.
Look how thick that is.
It's
on the spine. Look at that.
It's a chunky, well-built boy, but I do prefer the weight balance on that. That is a much more elegant blade.
Yeah. And so far, my first impressions, I'm kind of liking it. The fit and finish of it is reasonable. What's the price point of this one?
About $250, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, to be specific, this is the Cult of Athena exclusive Persian Shamshia / scimitar, retailing for $244.95 US. Good price.
That seems like a nice, affordable sword.
Yeah.
And the quality isn't going to blow you away, but for that price point, seems very reasonable.
Standard, it's kind of like the munitions grade, soldier fittings, basically, where it's not super polished with everything blowing you away, but it is functional, durable, and I'm happy with that in that price point.
Yeah. We've got some, gaps in things like where the guard actually attaches to the blade. We've got a little bit of a bending on one of the little quillions with on the little arms. Tiny
bit, yeah, you're right.
But again, for this price point, this is kind of to be expected. But how it handles, I'm a fan of it. I think I like it.
Handling is good. All right, some good news.
Okay.
All right, it is 1065 high carbon steel.
Okay, well that's good. Well, keep in mind it's always about the heat treatment.
Heat treatment will determine if it can reach the heights of performance with that grade of steel, but it's a good sign. You can get it sharpened. This came sharpened by Cult of Athena, but that is an optional extra. This is considered battle ready. Well, yes, windlass steel crafts, country of origin, India, and those are the general specifications. Blade length 30 inches and a half, overall length 35 and a half.
Okay, it seems pretty standard to be honest. You want to give it a little bit of a twirl?
I do indeed. Gee, actually that's not bad for a curved sword.
I'm going to say, keep in mind, the dynamics aren't for that.
No, but that actually, that spins all right. I was expecting the weight to be far off. It doesn't have too much of a distal tape, a tiny bit, but it doesn't necessarily need to be because
it's a thin blade.
It's actually a thin blade, and on profile it's rather thin.
Yeah.
It's odd. The handle naturally encourages me to hold it like this because it feels more comfortable, and you just kind of get the grip right in there with that pommel. And so
they've also got a little blunt bit right down the bottom, so you can put your finger over if you want.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep.
That is nice. All right, I'm digging it. I'm liking this.
Yeah.
We will see how well
it performs.
First off, point of balance. Wow, I would not expect that is a high point of balance, but you don't feel it.
It's very curved.
This feels light. I'm predicting 0.9, 0.7 kilos No wonder it feels like it's particularly top heavy, but you don't feel it because this sword is light. I'm really interested. I have cut once with this sword before, very lightly, so its edge should be pretty close to what it came with. I can't remember too much about it, so I'm just gonna go straight in, and already I'm wondering, like, this sword is made to get some drawing cut, so instead of hitting here, I think I need to come on a steeper angle and let it just slice through the target. So I'm gonna come down here and just... Oh, oh, that was, I didn't feel that. Yeah. That was nice.
Finally a sword that you can cut with, huh?
Tyrant likes to gaslight people into thinking that I can't.
Don't say
I've
that.
done so many horizontal great cuts. Like, you've seen it, right? And so he likes to say, I can't do them at all.
Go on.
I'm just gonna do like a looping, like. You're gonna like this sword.
Okay.
I reckon you're gonna like it. Another horizontal. This one, less effort, just like. All right, so that was less effort. That was less effort. But if I was focusing, it's nice. Kind of like a slap coming down. So I've been trying to get a steeper angle of attack, right, to get the drawing motion. This time, instead of coming down like this, I'm gonna be coming down like this. The thing is though, the blade is still curved. And so it's still gonna have a steeper angle of attack, even pointing forward, than on a straight bladed sword. And so I'm just gonna come down. Oh, ho, 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 ho! Did you see that?
I saw it.
That rested right on. That is the coolest cut I've ever done. Try and be that Tyrant.
Oh, I will. I'll try.
Yeah. You should see him. He's like, I know.
No, I'm not. Don't you? Don't. This guy.
This is insane, dude. This is actually cutting insane. I clipped it. Gosh. That was me. I'll own that one.
Oh wow, yeah, that's nice.
I told you.
Nice, yeah. Oof. I like it. It's a bit interesting because it does have quite a thin handle. Like, this is a very thin handle, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be because we have it flares out towards the end, and you have that stopper there for your hand.
I want to try and recreate that cut, right? It was a tip cut, just like this, and it just zipped through. Where I was just like, ooh. Sorry, I didn't have enough distance, and I need to be a little bit closer. Can't do it.
You're a bit lower down, so it had a bit more mass up the top, and you didn't hit a 45, you hit kind of a bit more, which gave it a little bit more of a flatter surface to rest on. Like that. See, like that.
It wasn't the same. Mine hung more.
I didn't have as much mass.
So this is the thing, right? Heavily curved swords, Shamshirs, Talwars, so this is Shamshir, Talwar is more Indian, right? They have a reputation for being some devastating cutting swords.
Yeah.
And it's the heavy curve that really enhances it, right? And this is what the effect you get out of a heavy curved sword versus a sword that barely has a curve, like a katana or some other, look, the same with European swords. The messes barely have a curve, most messes that is, including most falchions, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to this level, oh boy, we're operating with different physics.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Nodachi. When you get an actual curve that's really long, it's terrible. But because this is not a nice light sword, that aggressive curve, it's no worries at all.
And please bear that in mind. This sword is 0.7 kilos. and it is cutting this well for being so light.
Well, it's because most of that's just blade and there's
It's
tiny little handle.
That's actually a great point because it's very top heavy, right? But you don't feel it because it's so light. But that puts all the business, force right where you want it.
Yeah, we are rubbing off that stain. That stain.
We are actually.
All right, time to destroy it. This has
No!
been fun. Time to wreck it.
I don't want it.
Shad,
I don't want it.
it's time to destroy it.
And I don't want it.
Be a man.
All right. Windless. This is your time. All right. I want you to survive. You can do it. I believe in you. Interesting. All right, heavy hit. Okay.
How are we looking?
No bend, but the vibration wasn't the most comfortable thing.
Well, to be fair, that is very expected. It's got pinned handle. I would say scales, but they look like one solid piece. So you don't really have much meat there to take that vibration other than your hand.
It's held together though, no rattling.
Yeah. Should be fine so far. What? Shad likes this sword. That's great. I love that you like this sword. That's fantastic. I'm not relishing this at all. It's just
He's smiling! Look at him! The boss! No, he's gonna love this. How'd it go?
It looks like it held up perfectly fine. Those were some very reasonable cuts.
That was solid. No bending, no warping. It didn't feel nice though, did it?
It didn't feel the worst though. Context matters here. This is not a very big handle.
This is true.
It's wood and it's very solid, pinned straight to the tang.
Yes.
For all of that context, it felt better than I thought it would.
Okay, yeah, good points. Because if wooden dowels, like on katanas, absorb a lot of the shock.
That's brass pins.
These are brass pins. So for the construction type, it did actually do all right for the construction type. Okay. Okay.
What's next, Shad?
Should we do the can?
You want to do it?
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay. As Mr. Herrera would say, ADD break.
Canned pineapple deserves this because when it goes on pizza, it's an abomination and therefore deserves to be punished. We will destroy this pineapple. Interesting thing is, depending on the angle of attack, will depend on the likelihood of damaging the blade. This edge is a bit of concentrated metal, and so I'm going to do one straight down, one horizontal. In fact, I'm going to start with the horizontal. I baseballed it.
It's basically like just inviting the ants over for dinner.
Dude, look at that. That's a good central hit, though.
Yeah, it is.
That was where I hit the first time.
Right.
And it didn't damage the edge.
Yeah.
I think I can keep going with this. This is ready to pop as well.
Yep.
The pressure has increased. That really smashed it. Actually, no, there is cutting there. I did cut into the edge.
I see little drops of pineapple over cameras, Shad. All right, time for steel.
We have one more can. Do you want to go?
No, we can do steel.
You want to do steel?
Yeah.
It is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Here.
Please don't.
Yeah. It's an off-centered point. It's hard.
Yeah, it's the point.
We could do something else. I mean, we don't have to do steel, you know.
Nah, standardized testing and all that sort of stuff, you know?
We could probably cut up a helmet.
No.
Then maybe take a break.
Nah. Remember, we want everything to be the same, everything to be even, you know, no favoritism between swords or anything.
Usually, we request 2 swords for reviews, one to destroy, and then if we like it, we can keep one for later videos, right? But we only have one this time, and I like it. All right, ready? So far, so good. That was a harder hit.
It was. That's pretty respectable though.
It is, I told you.
Basically just a little bit of rolling and maybe some glinting.
We have tested like 1060 carbon steel swords with varying results. When the temper is bad, it takes significant damage. When the temper is good, it actually holds up like this. This is indicating good tempering on the blade. Quenching and tempering.
Yep.
Heat treatment.
Yep. Okay. Something felt off, but the blade looked fine. And then I felt it in the back of my hand.
That shows you the level of vibration that is going all the way down. Swords, wow, we only have slight rattling though. That's impressive.
Yes.
Swords have vibration transfer that goes down, okay? And if there's no absorption in the handle, it always ends in the pommel.
Yeah.
This is how it was snapped off
Or
pommels.
my pinky. Yeah.
It's how it was snapped off pommels. But let's have a look at... Dude!
Very reasonable.
So have a look at this, right? That's barely anything. We've only had 2 swords hold up like this. This shows top tier heat treatment.
Yeah, but we need to test the rest of the blade. Just because the edge is good doesn't mean everything else is.
All right. The thing is with side hits, no sword will survive damage from side hits.
This is true.
Okay, so I reckon, one side hit, just to see the flex.
One side, one spine.
Okay.
That's all I got.
It's got a set, yeah, it's a little set. See, but look, what would you expect? But hang on, it didn't snap. So if you kept doing this, this would continue to bend.
Yes, it would bend.
Like any sword, really. Okay, final thoughts on the Cult of Athena exclusive Persian Shamshir / scimitar.
I'm a fan.
I loved it. I really like this sword.
I don't mind this.
In terms of the overall score on our rating board, I'm inclined to give it a very high mark because it performs so well, but there are a couple of drawbacks. We did manage to induce a pummel snap. How could they improve that? You can't grow harder wood, but maybe what would you suggest?
Okay. All right, before we get into our rating, let's talk a little bit about it. So, it came wicked sharp, courtesy of Cult of Athena. The blade wasn't too bad at all. We did get quite an aggressive set on one side strike. The spine strike seemed to hold up perfectly fine, but we did get that big bow. The edge held up very admirably.
Very good.
However, the biggest drawback is this handle. Because it is so thin and so small, once you damage it and you take that pommel off, this becomes almost unusable.
Very uncomfortable.
I was having a very hard time doing those last 2 strikes without that pommel.
And this is how can you repair it?
Well, and to repair this one, you would have to take out these pins and then put a whole new wood handle back on.
Because we've had pummel snaps before, which were easier to repair because it was a metal attached pummel.
Yeah.
So...
And in terms of the fit and finish of this, I think for the price point, $250 US, it's what you would expect. It's reasonable. I did like it before this broke off, but without that pommel, this thing becomes very unwieldy, which is, we broke it, obviously. But then we come to where would we put it overall?
Yeah, look, I do want to stress, I think it deserves more credit for how well that edge held up. That is a gorgeous, tough edge. So that's nailed the heat treatment beautifully. I am in 8 out of 10 territory.
No, stop giving things 8 out of 10.
It's that, I'm trying to balance it against the other 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The edge was stronger than both of these.
A 7, somewhere in between, because we have the Honshu broadsword and the other Honshu, which had better blades that held up way better, but they also broke at the pommel.
Okay. This cut better than the Honshu swords.
It was just sharper. Just sharper.
No, I think that's due to the quality and design.
I don't think so.
I think it is.
It's a curved single-edged sword. It's like saying, well, we should put katanas at 10 because they cut better than long swords.
But we do knock down katanas to a 9, even perfect katanas, because they have flaws in their design that just perform worse.
True. This
so
has
I think
flaws in its design.
But no, this has benefits in its design because of the curved nature.
But every sword has benefits in its design.
So nice.
I agree with you, But it does have a big issue. When it snaps off, you're done, basically.
Okay. So let's compare it to the other swords, right? The edge was stronger than both the Romancer Men and the Phillips.
Oh, I don't think it was stronger than the Romancer Men.
Yeah, the Romancer Men got more damage on the edge. I just absolutely more damage on the edge.
All right, because this gets into a bit of a murky waters. Because the katana has more mass, it means I can hit harder with it. This has less mass.
I don't think that's relevant.
I think it's very relevant.
Because it cut just as well, regardless of it being lighter.
Because do you think that this steel quality is better than the Romancer Men? I don't think it is.
I think it is.
We'll agree to disagree on that. All right.
And so
okay.
And so it's got strengths over these swords, but also
drawbacks,
which makes it fall 8 out of 10 territory.
The Romance of Men had cut just as well. It's a katana. It was wicked sharp, and it held up very, very well, and it was still usable by the end. This is no longer usable. The Alexandrian Oakshot has an 8 because so far everything that we've tested with it was fantastic, but when we do a full destruction, another Cult of Athena, send us another one so we can destroy the one we got, it may get knocked down because of those reasons. The Honshu Claymore, similar sort of territory. The broadsword and the other Honshu.
I think
blades held up perfectly, but at least when those pommels broke off, they were still usable.
Never say I'm an unreasonable man. I think you've convinced me. I reckon 7 is a very respectable score for us.
I agree. I think that's a good middle ground. It held up really well, but when you kind of have the issues with it, you're in a bit of trouble.
Still, 7 out of 10. Really good score. Beautiful sword. Cut. One of the best cutting ones that we've reviewed.
I think we should put this into perspective here. The $3,000 katana's down here. The $250 sword is up here. It's all relative, right?
Yes. Based on performance.
Yeah.
And I was aiming, thinking, is it better than the Honshu Claymore? And I don't think it is. That's where I was like, okay, 7 out of 10 feels like a fair spot for it. Yeah. If you guys are interested in this really nice sword, we do have an affiliate link for Cult of Athena. You can check it out in the description down below, or check out one of our other reviews as well. We also reviewed recently a sword that we were hoping to be good, but it was rather disappointing.
I mean, if you're into these types of swords, I think this one's pretty good.
Really good.
Bad, especially for that price.
But check out the Chinese Dao review where it's surprising. It's right there.
Surprising.
Hope to see you there, guys. Catch us.